Hello, 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 and welcome to Courageously Kind. I'm Maddie.
And I'm Liz. We're twin sisters and best friends.
Together, we share stories of especially kind humans doing especially kind things in hopes that these conversations motivate and inspire you to be kinder to yourself and others. When we're not speaking with an incredible guest, we'll speak directly from our hearts about what it means to us to be courageously kind.
Ready whenever.
Awesome. Where are you located, by the way?
I'm in Los Angeles, California.
Los Angeles. Amazing. Is it hot there?
It's been hot, but honestly, I just got back from Palm Springs and it was 117 there. And so coming back here, it's mid 70s. So I'm like, this is, we have it too good here.
Right.
Beautiful.
We're on the border of New York and Pennsylvania, and we've had a heat wave this week, and it's been like 100 degrees, and we are not used to this. We're like,
oh my gosh, I know
dying.
That's crazy for East Coast. Wow,
right? Isn't that insane?
Yeah,
it rained last night and it's cooling down, but yeah. It was
good. Okay, yeah, it was such a wave there for a second. Oh my god,
crazy. So we're grateful that it is cooling down now.
Yeah.
I guess we'll get into it.
Do it.
So many questions for you. First, you started a nonprofit when you were 15. Girl, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Where did the idea for DreamCatchers come from? And what was it like to start a nonprofit in high school?
Yeah, well, I was volunteering at a local hospice with my older sister, and that was just kind of where she decided to volunteer because she was a little bit older and needed volunteer hours. And I just kind of tagged along with her, and really, I had always had this kind of affinity for spending time with people much older than myself and older generations. And I was always interested in talking to like people's grandparents and that type of thing. And so when I started volunteering at this hospice, I was starting to, realize that there weren't a lot of other young people doing that. And a lot of these people on hospice didn't even have visitors. They didn't even have like family and friends come see them very often. And so that just kind of felt like a hole to me and like something that I could help to fill. And so I was just kind of trying to think of what I could do myself to do something more for some of these people who were kind of alone in these final days. And that's when the idea for Dreamcatchers came to me through a movie, really. And that was kind of the initial inspiration. Tried it out on my own, and it ended up becoming a club at my high school, and I got friends involved, and then it just kind of has spread since then, which has been totally unexpected, but super, super cool to see. And I didn't ever, dream of creating a nonprofit. It just kind of happened that people started donating, and I was like, I don't know what to do with this money. I think I need to set up some sort of established like structure for it. And so that's kind of when the nonprofit part came into play, and we created that. So yeah, it's just been an unexpected yet very fulfilling and wonderful journey these past, I guess, 13 years now.
Wow, that's amazing.
Incredible.
That's
Can I
awesome.
ask what movie inspired all of this?
Yeah, no, it was Patch Adams. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that.
Oh, I love that
yes.
movie.
Such a good one. Yeah, there's a
Love
scene
that
where
movie.
he fills that pool full of noodles for that older woman who always dreamed of swimming in a pool of cooked noodles, and so he did that for her. It's kind of like her big dream. And so that was kind of the moment that I was like, I should be able to help do this for people who aren't often asked what their dream is. A lot of people don't really give that same attention to older people versus like kids or something with sicknesses or illnesses. So that was kind of just flipping Make-A-Wish on its head, if you will.
Yeah, I love that. I love
So
that. That was
beautiful.
something that I didn't realize until finding your organization was, there is organizations doing stuff like this for younger people, but older people are people too, and they have wishes and
Exactly,
desires
yeah.
and stuff like that. Yeah. Kind of leads me into our next question. Have you found, are there like misconceptions that maybe younger people have about older people or vice versa, that maybe through Dreamcatchers they realize, maybe their ideas are not necessarily true, or something changes within like connecting younger people and older people?
Yeah, totally. And that's really a huge reason why we keep it run by young people, because we've found that those connections across generations can be the most powerful thing that we do. Really just in having, I was reading this thing one time and it was saying, and I'm going to butcher it, but it was something along the lines of like, a single interaction can completely destroy any ageism that someone has. So it like sometimes all it takes is like one conversation. And the sad part is a lot of times that never happens. And so people just kind of continue on with these stereotypes and these judgments. And if you just have that conversation, you're like, oh, maybe that was all wrong. And so that's really been cool to see in our youth, but also in our older adults that we serve. The hospice patients often, come to us after. They're like, you've restored my faith in youth and in the young people of the world. And I feel like we're going to be okay. Our future's bright. And so a lot of them, come in with this, you see on the news, like you guys are really helping to kind of change, is like, there's so much negativity out there. And there's a lot about like how terrible young people are and selfish and, destroying the world. And same thing about older people, right? The young people also say it. And so just having these conversations has been so powerful for them to see like, oh, that's maybe just a stereotype that's been fed to me throughout my whole life. But not everyone's like that, right? There's always the few black sheep, but that's not really something that completely represents an entire population or an entire generation of people. So that's been really a beautiful and a huge part of why we do the intergenerational component.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So beautiful. I feel like you're just like tearing down this wall that divides us based on age, which is so silly. It's such a silly thing to be divided by, but it's so, relevant.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's true. Yeah. We're apparently more age segregated than ever, because we have like all our communities for, young people are in school, and then we put our older people in nursing homes or retirement communities. And it just feels like such a separated society in that way. And, amongst all the other isms that are out there, like racism, sexism, ageism isn't one we talk about as much. So it's definitely something that's prevalent and can be really harmful.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would imagine like technology is probably a barrier too. You know what I mean? We're growing up in this age of technology where we know how to do all these things and we can communicate with each other really easily, but maybe the older generations can't do that as well, or just don't know as much about it as we know about it. I would imagine that's
totally
there.
Yeah, it really is. It's a real communication barrier. And I think that's a big reason, we don't really connect, because it's like when certain generations rely almost exclusively on technology to communicate and form friendships or connections. It's like this whole generation doesn't even have that. So they're naturally kind of more left out of the conversation, I think.
Absolutely. And I thought you had when you mentioned that we don't really talk about ageism, like it's one of those things that we're all hopefully maybe going to experience. We're all going to get older, and we all were younger at one point, but we really don't talk about that lack of maybe communication or that barrier between the generations. So I think besides what you're doing with like bringing a lot of joy and kindness to people who are maybe in their final days, you're also doing some really, really cool and really important work to break those barriers between those generations. And that's really cool.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope that we can kind of carry this on and reach as many young people with this message and as many older adults with this message too, because it's really, it's simple interactions and they can really change the way we think. And you're right, like each of us are aging every minute of every day. Like that's what we're doing. So it's like we're all experiencing it, and it's gonna, hopefully sometime in the future, ageism won't be as much of a thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is there one dream that DreamCatchers has helped make a reality that stands out to you, that is the most memorable, that maybe is your favorite? I would imagine it's probably hard to pick a favorite, but is there one that stands out to you?
It's so hard to pick a favorite, because I obviously had favorites when I was doing the dream fulfilling myself.
Right.
And like some of my first ones were obviously the most memorable because they were just so impactful early on. But then I hear about other ones that chapters are fulfilling every day. And I'm like, that's really amazing and really cool and beautiful. But yeah, I mean, there's been so many. I would say I mean, my very first dream was very memorable and impactful for me. And then I've met a couple when I was in high school and still fulfilling dreams. There was a woman named Helen, and she was a foodie her whole life, and she owned a restaurant, and she just loved food. And unfortunately, her illness at this phase of life had made her bedbound, so she wasn't able to leave her home and go out to eat, which she loved to do. And she was talking about how she loved like the experience of dining in or dining out, somewhere at a restaurant, and how her favorite food was Chinese food. And so what I ended up doing, I think I was like 15 or 16 at the time. It was one of my very first dreams. And I kind of brought the Chinese restaurant to her. I like decorated it as the restaurant was decorated and served her this 5-course meal. And it was just, it's really more about, for me, getting to know her. And I heard stories, and I ended up continuing to visit her and share life experiences with her up until the end. So that was just really powerful. And it was just cool to kind of learn about her life and what she had been through.
That's awesome. That's
so beautiful. Oh my
and like you said, just to like get to know her as a person, you know what I mean? I'm sure, at this point in her life, she was probably, seen as like a patient and someone with an illness, and just to be able to like connect with her and see her humanity.
Yeah, that was really what it was about. And like her family, I think, was out of town, so they weren't really nearby to visit her. And so I kind of became that like, visitor that was able to kind of chat with her and listen to her stories. And yeah, it was just a really fun time.
That's so sweet.
That's so beautiful. And what I love about what you're doing too is that it's not just a one action thing. It's not like you're just giving them something and then leaving, but you're giving them emotions and memories and joy that will last the rest of their life, which is so beautiful. I love that so much.
Yeah, I really hope so. I hope it's like a moment that they and their families can really remember up until the end and beyond, even just giving them that like moment of happiness. And then really amongst our young people in high school and college, when they're doing this, it really carries forward with them. Because I know like Helen and other dreamers really impacted my life and my perspective, and continue to as I get older. And so I think that's really a huge part of it, is really having that stay with you and impact your life beyond their life.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there anything that you have learned about life through working with people that are dying that maybe you would not have learned otherwise, or anything like that?
Yeah, tons. I mean, I don't even know where to start, but they really, I think, especially when you're at that age, like when I started and I was in high school, and when you're in high school, you're kind of, in your own little bubble of like not really being able to look outside yourself much. And you're kind of just seeing the world from one viewpoint. And so it really helped me to see outside of that and see like, oh, this is, there are other people outside of myself, and there's things I can do outside of myself that are meaningful to others and impactful. And especially, things like really being present with people versus like, we all have our phones and our Apple Watches and all this stuff now, but it's like, just taking time away from that when you're with someone and genuinely trying to connect, because there are so many distractions. And so it just means so much more when you're able to give someone your full attention, and even just simplicity, like appreciating the simple little things. Like as a high schooler, you're like, I want a new phone, I want a car, I want, all these things that you want. But it's like the things that matter are not things. It's those moments, and it's your family, and it's your friends, and it's the love around you. So that was really powerful to learn at a young age, because most of us learn that later after we've kind of had some of these life experiences. But being given those lessons as I was in that time of like being so self-centered and really focused on materialistic things, it helps you to see outside of that.
Sure.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
awesome. I love it.
Can I ask more about the logistical? How do you match up young people with dreamers?
Yeah. So basically, How it works is we have student chapters that form all over. Like someone can request to form a chapter at any point. They're usually in high school or college, kind of around that age group. They can also form them in their communities or wherever. And then once they form a chapter, we work to find them a hospice partner. So if there's a hospice in their community, we get them all partnered up with us, which basically just means they are putting the word out amongst their social workers and nurses as they're visiting patients. And then from there, the relationship is pretty self-sustaining on their own. So the hospice will get the contact info of the student chapter leader, and then any dream requests that maybe the social workers or nurses come across when they're visiting their patients. Maybe someone's been talking about how much they love to dance a lot, or something that they keep bringing up. That would be a perfect example of like, oh, how can we turn this into a dream for you, or like make that experience a reality one last time. And then they would contact the student chapter, and the student chapter then does all of the planning and the work to kind of make that happen. So they're pretty much like little relationships that exist in communities all over. And we help facilitate those relationships initially, but then we hope that they kind of sustain themselves from there on out, and they're able to just communicate back and forth with one another.
That's awesome. And you guys are like all over the country, right?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, we're all over. We hope to be in all 50 states in like a year or less, but we're in about 25 states now. And we have about 45 student chapters. So yeah, just kind of all over the place.
That's so awesome. I love it.
Cool.
I gotta see if there's one in our community. I would love to get involved.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely. Yeah, it's definitely a fun time. It's a really good way to kind of connect with your community, and we've seen that it makes communities really stronger because they begin to appreciate bringing generations together a little bit more, and then it's something that can live on past you in like in your high school or college, like when you graduate or go on to whatever you're doing next. It's able to kind of continue if you find successors for that.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. Love it. It's really something that I honestly would never think about, you know what I mean, pairing up younger kids and people in hospice, but I think it's so special and so unique to anything else that I have ever heard of. And it's obvious that it's really making a difference in both the younger generation and the older generation. So it's so awesome.
I hope so. That's the goal. Hopefully we can just get it everywhere, and as prevalent as Make-A-Wish is, right? It's equally.
Absolutely. If people want to get involved and want to support DreamCatchers, how can they do so?
So our website's DreamCatchersFoundation.org, and on there is all sorts of information about getting involved. Whether you're a student in high school or college that wants to start a chapter, become involved with the chapter, great. We are also always looking for adult volunteers to kind of help support chapters in their communities, or hospices or healthcare providers that want to get involved on that side of things. And obviously donors, that's very important. Really, there's tons of ways to get involved in any way. So DreamCatchersFoundation.org is our website, and we have obviously our Instagram where you found us, and all the other social medias. So it's easy to find us, hopefully.
Awesome. I love
Beautiful.
it.
Before we let you go, is there any last advice or memories or anything else you'd like to share with our listeners?
Well, I would love to just say, if you're listening to this, and regardless of, where your interest lies or where your passion is, maybe it's not for what exactly we're doing, which is totally fine. But I would just say to try and have a conversation with another generation today, or maybe the older couple that's sitting at the restaurant across from you, or the older man or woman who might be eating alone or picking up their coffee or whatever it is. Just have a conversation. It can really break so many more boundaries and barriers than we think. Even just saying hi, hello, and expressing kindness that way. So along with your amazing message of this podcast, I think really cross-generational conversations, interactions, just do your best to do that, maybe once a week, once a month, however you can, because it really helps to break down those stereotypes. So I think that's it.
I love it. I love it. I love it. It's awesome. Having the courage to like go up to those older people and just say, hey, how's your day going? What's going on? I think can be so rewarding. We both work retail, and we see a lot of older people come into our store, and you can tell that sometimes they just want to chat and they just want somebody to talk to, and they're most of the time really funny, and it's just a wonderful little exchange. So thank you for sharing that message with us today, and I hope that everyone listening has the courage to reach out and be kind to some older people in their lives. So Caitlin, thank you so much.
Thank you. This was so much fun. You guys are awesome. This was just so easy to talk to you and share. So I love what you're doing.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here.
So
And Dreamcatchers is really so awesome. It's so awesome that you just like, you're obviously like super driven and focused, and that you just had this idea and turned it into a now nationwide movement is just awesome.
Thank you. Well, we still got lots of work to do.
Absolutely. And any way that we can support you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. So we are filming, we're in college, so we're getting ready to go back to school in August. And our plan is to film a bunch of these interviews and then post them when we get back to school. So this one will most likely air either August to September, but we'll send you links when it's ready to go out.
Yes,
and
please do.
You can listen, and we'll obviously tag the website and tag all your social medias and that good stuff. So
that'd be great. So where do you guys go to school?
We are in Scranton, Pennsylvania. So if you've ever seen The Office,
have I seen The Office?
I know, right? So we go to a small liberal arts college in Scranton. So
that's so cool. And are you studying something along the lines of like media or anything like that?
Communications,
You are. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
That's so cool. What year are you?
We're gonna be sophomores.
Oh, nice. Oh my gosh. So much time left in the fun days of college.
Right? I know. It feels like it feels like really exciting because I think COVID restrictions are letting up, and I hope we can have some more fun in our
I know. Yeah. At least did you get to go to school this last year?
We did.
Okay, good.
And it was like things were slowly starting to come back, clubs and events and stuff like that. But hopefully this year will be more in full swing of things.
Yeah. Well, this is just so cool that you started this podcast, and I'm inspired by you. So thank you for doing what you do. And I'll be sure to spread all the links and the word and everything as much as I can.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
So
We're inspired by you.
Oh my God, so inspired by you. You're awesome.
So much inspiration.
So much, we love it. So much love.
I love it. That's so cool.
Awesome. Good stuff.
Well, thank you both so much.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't think I have any questions. I'm sorry that the first time it didn't work out.
Oh my God, no, that was totally our bad. Totally our bad. All good. Scheduling sometimes is like the hardest thing of like, did you email? Did I email? But No, I totally get it. We were able to work out today. Perfect.
Well, I'll look forward to seeing the links. And just to let me know if there's anything I can do to help you guys too.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. This was awesome. Have a great rest of your day.
Great to meet you both. Thanks. You too.
Great to meet you as well. Bye.
Bye.
We'd like to give a huge thank you to Anawalt's Landscape Contracting for their support of Courageously Kind.
Anawalt's is a family-owned landscape contracting company in Berks County that has served Pennsylvania for over 35 years.
If you're ready to get your landscaping project started, visit anawaltlandscape.com or call 610-916-7070.
Anawalt's Landscape Contracting, beautifying Pennsylvania 1 yard at a time.
Thank you so much for listening. If you like this episode, feel free to share it with your friends, your family, or anyone you think might like it too.
And if you want to support the show, leave us a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. It really does help. Or check out our merch store at courageouslykind.org. Take good care, and we'll see you back here real soon.